Niko's got a few polling questions that'll be run during his presentation. Please keep your phones handy and ask any questions, and I shall pass over. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Hey, good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I arrived 2 minutes ago by taxi. I was a bit stressed out. Traffic was horrible this morning. Thank you for joining this session. So I'm Niko from blender.io. Not blender.com. Blender.com is a dating site. We're blender.io. And we're an integration platform. So we take care of integrations between different cloud tools, and we specialize in event technology. And I would like to talk to you today about integrated cloud stacks or integrated technology stacks, what it means and what you need to do to get there. And the reason is because there's so many cloud tools out there, right? If you look at the martech overview, there's more than 7,000 marketing technology cloud tools on the market. And if you look at the Kramer overview of event technology, there's more than 400 tools. And actually there's even more because not everyone's on that list. So there's a huge choice for people to use different cloud tools. And of course the big challenge is that they become data silos, right? If you use multiple tools, it becomes hard to make them talk to each other. And that's what it's all about. It's about integrating your cloud tools. So maybe we can do a first poll and let's have a look at how many tools you actually use on a weekly basis. So this is a quick question that you can answer through the app. I don't think we have the question on the screen. So let's have a look on how many tools you actually use on a daily or a weekly basis. Is it 1 tool, 2 to 5, 5 to 10, or even more? Think about everything you use, right? Reg platforms, CRMs, mailing tools, Slack, things like that. Can we see the answers? Okay. So yeah, quite a few people using more than 10 tools, right? Or 5 to 10. Cool, thanks a lot. So that's the whole reason why you want to have, or why you want to avoid data silos between your reg platform, your on-site tools, your mailing tools, your marketing tools. And what we see is that what people do today to solve this issue is what we call Excel hell. People download lists of attendees from one tool, then they upload it to a different tool, but you have to repeat it because attendees get updated, new people register for the event, and so people are doing all this manual repetitive stuff on a daily basis. Maybe we can do a quick second poll and let's see if people actually recognize that behavior of using Excel to do exports and imports. So the question is, do you actually have someone in your team that's doing all this manual work where you need to get data from one tool and import it again in another tool? Let's have a quick look at the answers before we continue. I'm really curious to see if anybody suffers from Excel hell. Wow. Okay. Quite a few people are doing this today. Thanks. Good to know. And so that's the reason why we built the Blender.io integration platform. It's a visual platform that allows us to connect the different tools that our customers are using. We work directly with the event tech companies. We also work with event organizers. So as an event tech platform, there's a strategic reason why you would offer integrations to your customers. First of all, as we just said, your customers just need it, right? They use multiple tools. They expect your tool to be opened up and not to be a data silo. But also the fact that we see a shift from these all-in-one platforms to best-of-breed tools. People use individual tools to solve individual problems. For example, a tool like Vivox to do polling on an event, right? There's not one tool on the market that can do it all. And also very important, when you offer integrations to your customers, this creates stickiness. This binds your customers to your platform because all of a sudden you're not only taking care of this one piece of cloud software, you're also taking care of their overall stack and the integrations that go with it. As an event organizer, on the other hand, why would you do integrations? Obviously to save time. When you no longer need to do stuff manually through Excel, through imports and exports, you save a lot of time, but you also avoid human errors. Each time you have to do something manually, you risk of making a mistake, having data corruption, and having people missing out on certain lists. And there's another reason, and that's not so much the practical reason, but also the ability to do more personalization, and we'll talk more about it. Once you start integrating, for example, your Reg platform with a CRM tool, you can send more detailed information to your marketing automation platform, to your CRM tool, to your mailing tool, which allows you to then personalize the messages that you send out to people, but we'll talk more about it. So what does an integrated stack typically look like? Here's the first example of something that we see very often, where people have an event management platform or a Reg platform. That's the central tool they use to manage their events. But then they typically also have what we call on-site tools. It could be a matchmaking app, it could be a mobile app, a polling app, lead retrieval, badge scanning, all these tools where your attendee list really needs to end up to make it work. You also have your website where you typically want to push content from the event, the sessions, the agenda, the speakers, the bios, things like that. And you have your generic marketing stack where you send personalized mailings, things like that. So CRM like Salesforce or HubSpot, or a marketing automation platform like Marketo, or just a mailing tool like MailChimp. So these are typically 3 destinations for your event data coming from your Reg platform. And here's a second example, which is a bit more detailed. And actually, this is the stack that we integrated for this event, for Event Tech Live itself, where we have different tools for speaker management and abstract management. We have a different tool for the Reg, and we have yet another tool for the exhibitors. So we have 3 different sources of data, and then all this information from the event, speakers, exhibitors, sessions, and much more, needs to end up in all these destinations. So we have the badge scanning tool, we have the matchmaking app, the mobile app, the event website, and for example, for Event Tech Live, we also sync the data to MailChimp so that ETL can send personalized mailings to attendees. So these are 2 examples of technology stacks that we typically integrate with our platform. And if we have a somewhat deeper look at an actual use case, then this is one of the most common reasons to do an integration. So you have your Reg platform, you have your CRM, and each time somebody registers for the event, you want them to end up in your CRM so that they can receive emails for an upcoming event, for example. So this is typically the data that we get out of the Reg platform and that we sync into your CRM. Obviously the attendee basic details, but also all the questions they answered on the Reg form, the sessions for which they signed up, the actual attendance, so when people actually attend sessions and they're scanning at the entrance of each session, also that data will go into the CRM, because again, that's all very useful information to enrich your profiles. When you know that people are interested in certain sessions and they actually attend that, you can use that information in your CRM to then personalize your invitation for the next event. And if we have networking information or matchmaking information from the Reg platform, also that information can be synced to the CRM. Today we have about 50 different connectors to event technology, and we add new ones all the time. So again, we work directly with the technology platforms, we work with their APIs, and that's how we add connectors to our platform. So as soon as we have the connector in place, we can work with your Reg platform and send it off to any of the CRMs that we support. So here's a little more detailed look at the actual flow. So here we have Jane. She's signing up on a Reg platform for an event, and she's signing up for certain sessions. In this example, Jane is selecting the AI track, artificial intelligence track. Thanks to the real-time sync, this information goes into HubSpot as the CRM. So Jane will now be known as a contact in HubSpot, and using custom fields, we will also keep track of the fact that she's interested in AI. And then after the event, we use HubSpot to send out a personalized mailing to invite her for an upcoming event where this block is conditional on the fields that we have here. So people interested in AI will receive a different email to people registered for different tracks or sessions. And so this is a very good example of how you personalize your messaging based on information coming from your Reg platform. A second use case, as I said before, is synchronization to on-site tools, where we typically need to do real-time syncs, because people might register for the event at the entrance. You have walk-ins, and in a very short time frame, these people need to be available in the on-site tool because they register, and then 1 minute later they're being scanned at the actual entrance. So in that very short time frame, we have to make sure that new walk-ins are actually added to the on-site tool so that they can actually be scanned. So this is typically something we do, where we get all this information from the Reg platform and we sync it to all the different on-site tools that you might use. A third use case is typically something you do after the event. Well, no, that's not always true. It's about synchronizing your ticket purchases to an accounting tool. So this is not so much about the personalization, but just plain old sending out invoices. It can get quite complicated because you might have refunds, so you need to send out credit notes, you might have upgrades to tickets, changes, cancellations, ticket transfers. So all this logic is typically part of the integration between a Reg platform and an accounting tool. So each time a ticket gets upgraded, for example, an additional invoice will be sent out, or a credit note will be sent out and a new invoice. So again, an example of what it typically takes to do an integration between a Reg platform and accounting software, like for example Xero or QuickBooks or Exact Online. By the way, typically in this type of integration, we also look at your incoming online payments that you receive through Stripe or PayPal, so that you can also flag invoices as being paid. And then a last use case is about dashboarding. It's about visualizing the data that you have, typically again coming from different tools, where you want to aggregate that data and in order to create dashboards that show you exactly what's going on your event. So for this we will use all the different tools as a source of data, not a destination. The matchmaking app to see how much interaction actually takes place, the Reg platform, and many other tools, and we send it to your dashboarding tool of choice. So this could be Zoho Analytics, Cumul.io, Microsoft Power BI, or any other tool that you want to use for your dashboarding. And so this is an example of what it can typically look like. You can aggregate your registration data, you can do benchmarks, so you can compare your data between your current and your previous event, and you can also look at the engagement taking place between your attendees. So this gives you an idea on the health, the activity level of your event. So these are three main use cases that we see on an everyday level. Of course, we can build other types of integrations, but these are the most common ones that we implement as Blender.io. So that's basically it. We have some incoming questions. Sorry, we have one more poll question. I forgot. So let's have the last poll question. And this question is about, okay, which tools do you think would make sense to be integrated? So it would be great to just hear a few names of tools where you believe an integration makes sense. And I will quickly let you know if you already have the connector or not. And if we don't, we typically add a new connector in about 2 business weeks. So it's a pretty quick process. So this could be your CRM, mailing tool, reg platform, on-site tool, tools like Slack or SMS gateways, payment providers, things like that. Okay, so Salesforce seems to be the #1 response, which makes total sense. Salesforce is a tool with which we integrate all the time. Salesforce is very powerful because you can create custom objects and custom fields. So it's a very good platform to model your overall event. Pardot survey tools. I see quite a few reg platforms. Of course, we have connections to Cvent, to Brella, Wix, MailChimp, Pardot, Explory, Salesforce Marketing Cloud, Act. These are all platforms for which we have a connector, Eloqua, Eventbrite. So thanks for the feedback. Makes total sense. And cool to see that Airtable is also in here. Who knows Airtable? Nice. Yeah, super interesting tool. It's actually free. It's like Excel on steroids. It's a combination of Excel and an actual database. It has an API, so if you have data, we can easily push it into Airtable, which makes it easy for you to combine the data, to edit it, and to work with your data. Airtable is a super cool tool. Okay, thanks. Let's go to the question list. Do you have any recommended tools for this automation? I would say our own tool, blender.io. So we specialize in event tech. Of course, there are other tools on the market. Zapier is a self-service tool. It's pretty limited, but if your integration is pretty simple and straightforward, that's something you could consider to use. The difference is that at Blender, we specialize in event tech. We understand the use cases. We understand the complexity of speakers being linked to sessions and all these things that are specific to events. And as I said before, you sometimes need real-time integrations that are really fast, and that's also something that not every platform is able to provide. Does my data ever leave the UK? That's a tough question. Our servers are within the EU. We have servers in different regions, so you can choose which instance you use. We currently don't have a specific instance in the UK. Obviously something we can do towards next year. But if you use our European instance, then your data will never leave the EU. Of course, we are fully GDPR compliant. We will work under your DPA, or we can provide a standard TPA. So GDPR questions is something we're very used to answering. Do we have a favorite marketing technology or martech tool? We use many different tools because for each tool that we connect, we also try to understand how it works. Obviously, HubSpot is very well known. It's user-friendly. It's just very, very expensive. Salesforce is a very it can be actually pretty affordable. So Salesforce is definitely something to look at. And then you have tools like MailChimp. They started off as a simple mailing tool, but since they've added many new features, such as advertising, so also MailChimp is actually a quite powerful tool you can use for your event marketing. Is it hard to encourage tech companies to collaborate? It depends on how you do it. So we never own the data. There are some other initiatives in the market where they actually become a central hub, but it's a bit dodgy because the way how we do it, your data remains your own data. We are just the plumbers. We just send it from one tool to the other, to your own tools, and we will never, ever, ever do anything else with that data. So do we have a hard time working with the platforms? No, not at all. The only issue we can have is that the platform doesn't have an API yet. So if you are an event tech platform, please look into building an API. We actually wrote a comprehensive blog article on, with a checklist on what you typically need to think of when you build your own API. So you can download it for free on our website. Please make sure to have a look at that. The only thing we need is an API. How long does it take to build an actual integration? So a connector is just 2 weeks, but building a new integration can be a bit longer because, of course, we need to test it. We have to make sure it works for all the different cases. So that's something between 4 to 6 weeks. And that's, of course, if it's the first time that we build that specific integration. For many integrations, we already have the template ready available, but if it's something completely new, it will take us between 4 to 6 weeks to actually build and test and deliver that integration to you. If you want more information, we have a booth just around the corner, so please come and have a look. I'm also happy to give you a live demo of the platform. How cost effective is an integration? We can talk about pricing. So it all depends on if you're the event organizer or if you are the tech platform. Obviously, we try to make it affordable, but we can talk in more details about pricing at our booth. And can you integrate images, documents, and video files? That's a very good technical question. We synchronize data. That's what we do. It's data. But for example, a profile picture of a speaker is typically a URL. So that's what we will sync from A to B. It's the URL to the picture, and that way things should work as you expect. But that's how we do it. We don't actually sync the files. We sync the link, the URL, to the actual data. Cool. I think, oh, sorry, we have one more question. What sort of use cases do you need to build an integration? We've done this many times. So if you just give us the basics, we typically know what you mean, and we can also provide feedback on, okay, let's make sure we think about this and this and this. So in many cases, we get like a short email on the intention, what it needs to do, and then we can take it from there, and we will discuss all the details with you. We have information available. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for your attention. See you soon.